We're already with that.
Yeah, he's got no experience, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna be in for a really big surprise.
Oh, and he even said not to expect more money from the districts. Because they already pay more than what they should have to, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess he can just sit back and watch it flow now.
It's, it's, it's gonna be interesting.
I definitely do. Came in, it's all good off to the side like that.
I do have the doors off of my Jeep now.
I saw that. Well, good for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the important work of community foundations throughout America and their collaborative and innovative approach to working with the public, private, and nonprofit sector. And whereas for more than 5 years, the Hiawatha Community Foundation has made it possible for the city of Hiawatha and Hiawatha USD 415 citizens, businesses, and organizations to create permanent philanthropic resources for the current and future needs of our communities, from basic human needs to creating innovative solutions that transform our towns, cities, and counties. And whereas Hiawatha Community Foundation provides the opportunity for individuals from all walks of life to be philanthropists. And whereas one of the greatest ways to ensure a strong community, economic vitality, educational success, and effective community leadership is through the active presence of a community foundation that allows for local community-based endowments. And whereas together we can build a stronger city of Hiawatha and Hiawatha USD 415 area and improve the future by creating community legacies to benefit all of Kansas. And whereas Hiawatha Community Foundation provides beneficial grants to our community, supports critical community causes and efforts, strengthens the nonprofits in our region, and makes our community stronger. And whereas it is critical to set aside a time to recognize the value and impact of Hiawatha Community Foundation on a regional and local level for the investment, partnership, and leadership they create across many of Kansas communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Becky Schamberg, do hereby proclaim May 18th through 24th, 2025 as Community Foundation Week in Hiawatha, Kansas, and encourage all citizens to recognize and support the impact that community foundations, their volunteers, and donors have statewide. So I don't know if Virginia or Cindy or Deborah, if you have anything to add or want to kind of give us anything that our community foundation is doing, or if you're just happy just to hear me read all of those words. Yeah. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I probably should have said that sooner.
Mayor Schamberg and commissioners, we're happy that we're able to help the community of Hiawatha and USD 415 citizens. Currently, there's 49 funds out there that people can donate, and there's multiple different avenues of funds. So we're just happy to be able to help the area. And I think it's been good for the area.
Oh, absolutely.
Several things have come from it.
Deeply appreciated.
Yeah,
Without a
thank you
doubt.
for all your efforts.
Yes.
Did
thank
you
you.
want to add anything about Match Day? That's what's coming up next.
Match Day is coming up the 23rd and 24th of May. Our donor portal opens up at 12:01 a.m. on the 23rd. For those of you that don't sleep at night or can't sleep at night, you can donate online. Otherwise, we're going to have some live events. And Friday night, our live event is from 4 to 7:30 at the Fisher Center. Saturday morning, it's from 9 to 11 at the Fisher Center. But the Country Cabin is going to be serving breakfast out of the food truck beginning at 8:30. They're donating 10% of their profits back to the community foundation. So coming breakfast on Saturday,
Biscuits and gravy.
I think they have a chicken sandwich or something. I know they have biscuits and gravy, but there's like a sausage egg biscuit or something. I don't remember what else they're having.
Okay.
He didn't share that with me.
Okay.
So we're just appreciative that the city's behind it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thanks you, the three of you, for coming today. I appreciate that. So. Oh. Because you were not in my line of sight. Anything else from the commissioners? Okay, well then we will move on to public comments, petitions, and memorials. Matthew Young on the 2025 Farmers Market. Oh, did you want, oh wait, Matthew, hold on for a second.
You're gonna just text it to me.
I came from a college student. Oh, okay. I feel like I'm the only one. There you go. Okay, let me use it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I about to call you Jenny. Where did that come from? Oh, because I have no teacher for Jenny. Sorry about that. Okay, now we can do the farmer's market.
Summer again, and we're getting ready to do the farmer's market. If you guys are still wanting it in Hiawatha, looking at starting June 6th, which is a Friday, and running from 4 to 6:30 p.m. all the way through September. And we just want to know if you guys still want that in the county or in the city, and also if it's still okay to do it there in the grassy area next to the skate park again this year.
Any idea how many vendors you're open to now?
Not too many. We would like to have more vendors. If anybody knows of anybody that wants to be a vendor, have them contact me. It's more of a community service than it is a huge money maker for the vendors. And we just found out here in the last week, the senior voucher program that was administered through the Area Agency on Aging for seniors to get coupon books is on hold. And they're not going out June 1st. Which has been a big part of our market is a lot of the senior citizens that bring those coupon books. We're hoping they get them resolved and they get them out to them this summer. I have a feeling it's tied to funding either at the state or federal level that's been held up. So that's going to make the market smaller. I mean, the way around it, but there's still going to be about 3 or 4 vendors. There's ones that we've been there for years that still plan to come. So. We'd like to have more. We'd like to make it a bigger market, but that's kind of what it sustains right now.
Okay.
So, any questions?
Brad, is there any?
Is there anything that, any support that you're gonna need from the city, any barricades, anything like that?
No barricades or anything. I mean, just mainly just allowing us to use that grassy area and I mean, just keeping it mowed all summer.
Okay.
But
Okay, do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion
Motion to
to
farmer's
approve.
market.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the farmer's market from the date specified June 6th to September
into September the 26th.
and September 26th. I think it's good for the community to have it.
Fridays.
Second.
There we go.
It's
Been moved and second to approve the farmer's market for this summer. Any further discussion? If not, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Thanks for coming in. Yep.
no problem.
June 6th. Okay, moving on to the next item, Ryan.
think I'll explain it. Yeah, Ryan Meininger, Sherry Martin, Pastor Mike Lehman. We, on behalf of FBC, we're part of a committee or, a board that was formed real quick to do events in our church. And one of the ideas we had was a community water fight, which we stole. If any of you were at the Hethid dinner and listened to that speaker, they do a community water fight. And it's a big deal. So we don't have anything like that. So it's open to everyone, not just the church congregation. It'll be held there at FBC, which is what, 210 Lodge Road. And the reason my request today, I talked to Patrick about maybe using a fire truck to help fill some of our attractions. We're going to have a couple of horse tanks, possibly a dunk tank, some water attractions, stuff like that. We'd love to, if they could come and fill it, and we'd love them to be a part of it. We haven't continued those discussions, what that might look like. But the main request and ask today is for possibly the fire department using a truck to come fill these. We'll use our own water at the church as well to fill some other little stuff. But if we were going to fill all those, it would probably take us a week. But so that's our official request. The date of the event is July 12th, Saturday, July 12th. I think we decided on 1 to 6.
Yeah.
Is the time frame. So we'd be looking, if we could, the day before, Friday, maybe the 11th, or whenever works out is fine, as long as it gets done before the event. So that is our request. Anything you guys want to add? Nothing to think of.
Free food.
Yes. Free food, ton of water guns, water balloons, all that stuff for the kids, just a wild and out kind of time. So should be a good thing.
Chief, was there any concerns about that? As far as the fire department's role, you could live in your truck and you could shoot people.
I wonder if you should see them. Just
I don't see a problem with that though.
Brad, any concerns?
no concerns from me.
I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to allow the city fire department to participate in the First Baptist Church Community Water Fight, which will be held on July 12th from 1 to 6, and the use of their equipment to fill water tanks.
And I assume you'll just get a hold of Patrick to find out when that works best.
That's okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the First Baptist Church Community Water Fight with the help of the fire department. Any further discussion? Not done.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Thank you. That sounds like a good time. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Any comments on that, Brad?
I would just like to point out that the next city commission meeting will be on May 27th due to the Memorial Day holiday. So that will be a Tuesday.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Not done.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to old business, item 1, amended fireworks ordinance 2139.
So, yeah,
Go ahead.
okay. I was gonna say, this is just a continuance of the conversation that we had at the last meeting about the details of the fireworks ordinance that we're gonna bring forth. I'd like to point out that very much like what we do with the use of city equipment for the Halloween parade, in order to accommodate the fireworks being discharged from Route 8 on July 3rd, that we would just be suspending that policy of this ordinance for that time period. Like I said, much like what we do for the use of city equipment in the Halloween parade. So that's how this is worded. That's why if you don't see it in the ordinance, that is why. Are there any questions on it at all?
I'm just here for questions. I think if you see the proposed permit on the backside of that, which will have the applicant sign, have the rules and regulations as far as what the stands need to look like and safety concerns that we've addressed with the help of the fire department. So.
Commissioner, have any questions?
Looks like they've covered everything.
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2139, amending chapter 7, article 3 of the Hiawatha City Code, allowing for the sale of fireworks within the city limits of Hiawatha with restrictions set by Hiawatha City Commission.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2139. Any further discussion? If not, done.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0.
So just for those watching on YouTube later, that this ordinance will be effective after its publication in the newspaper Friday this week. So the applications for permits for the stands will be available next week here at City Hall. So if anybody wants one of those, just have them get in touch with City Hall so they can get that thing started, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Moving on to item 2, resolution 2025-08, the volunteer firefighter personnel policy.
Yeah, so I've been in discussions with Fire Chief Patrick Sheldon about this, and he was able to review this, and the only change that we made from what was presented the last time would be in section M1. It would be residency requirements, and that just, I just changed that to match the bylaws of the fire department that the members would have to live within the fire district. So that's the only change that I've made as to the last time. This is establishing the personnel policy for volunteer firefighters, and so I'm open to any questions that anybody might have.
Seems pretty clear cut to me. Is there any other questions? If not, I'd entertain another motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-08, establishing a personnel policy and guidelines for the volunteer firefighters for the city of Hiawatha.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2025-08. Any further discussion? If not, Don? Aye.
Aye.
Did you oppose or
He's just
delayed? Okay. I
Sorry,
thought you.
I was behind.
Okay, motion passed 5-0. Now moving into new business, item number 3, breed specific dog ban.
So yes, all it has to include the breed specific dog ban that the city currently has in place, which is chapter 2, article 4 of the Hiawatha City Code, which includes both pit bulls and Rottweiler dogs. And so I've done a little bit of research on both. And so when I looked at this, I want to look at both sides of what we have in place. Right now is just a ban on pit bulls and Rottweilers within the city limits of Hiawatha. And like I said, I would like to see if there's any, kind of get the commission's thoughts on this, if there's any changes that any of the commissioners would like to see to this ban. Just kind of get your thoughts and see if this would require us to kind of amend that ordinance as well, just like what we've done with fireworks. So I at this point, I'm open to any questions or any thoughts anyway.
Now, when you say pit bull, you mean and pit bull mix?
That's correct. And so the way that the ordinance reads is that if the dog has the characteristics, I believe, of a pit bull, is that correct?
The breed specific ordinance says the specific characteristics of the breed. So I think it's become difficult. You can't really get a veterinarian to take any genetic testing or do any testing and give us a response back as far as that goes. If the dog has the characteristics of the breed, typically what we've done in the past is put the owner on notice that the dog needs to be removed from the city. We give them a time frame to do that, or to get us some verification from their veterinarian that the dog is not a pit bull.
I don't have a problem with pit bulls, pit mixes. I do have a problem with some people in the way they treat their dogs, but that's not the dog's fault. I would like to see this dog ban eliminated, but that's my side of it. There's so many dogs out there and they're good dogs and they need homes, and it really limits our humane society to where they can adopt dogs. You know, they're moving them to Texas and other places like that don't have bans, just because we can't have anything that's a pit mix or a Rottweiler. That's my 2 cents.
If you all can hear me, I've thought about this quite a bit, and my stance on this is I think it's too hard to enforce, to say that, okay, what type of breed is right now? It's actually kind of vague. Is it possibly a Rottweiler? I don't think that anybody can really prove, what it is without DNA testing. This might have worked in the 80s, but so what I would like to see is have just a vicious dog policy.
Yeah.
A dog that's shown aggression and if a dog, it doesn't matter what breed it is, if a dog has bit somebody in town, it should not be allowed back into town. We should not set ourselves up for someone else to get injured. And this has happened in the last year to a couple people. So that's my thought on it. I don't think we should limit it to just a specific breed necessarily. Just let's have some type of vicious dog policy, and then we don't have the wishy-washiness of, is it a pit bull or not? And also, like I said, we need to have something saying if someone's been bit, the dog's not allowed back in town from that point. From what my understanding is, if someone gets bit by a dog, they have to quarantine, or the dog needs to quarantine for 2 weeks, or don't quote me on the days or the numbers. I'm not for sure exactly what it is. And it goes back to the homeowner. So we still have a vicious dog that's bit somebody in city limits, and you're setting yourself up for failure, in my opinion. So that's my stance on this. Some type of vicious dog, just change the ordinance to a vicious dog policy, and have something in writing saying, hey, if your dog bites somebody, and then it's not allowed back in town. I don't know what that looks like, Andy. If you have any more input on that, maybe.
Sure. I guess I believe our ordinance calls for that already. Typically, if we do have a vicious animal, a vicious dog portion of the ordinance already, and it is, like you said, it's kind of a reactive measure because we can't take any action on it until the dog shows some aggression or bites I think if it bites any human, or if there's an unprovoked attack on another animal, at that point the animal is considered vicious. If our police department is informed about it, they give the owner usually around 48 hours to have the dog removed from the city. Or we give them notice that we consider the animal vicious at that point. It is illegal to harbor a vicious dog in the city. So if we've made the determination that it's vicious, it's no longer lawful to keep that dog in town. So we don't typically destroy the animal, give the owner a chance to adopt it to a location where it's not a danger to the Hiawatha community. But you're right, if there is an animal bite, that dog is captured, if at all possible, and quarantined, unless there is a current rabies vaccination certificate on file with the police department. I know our police department's done a really good job this year in making sure that everybody's up to date on their vaccines. But we do have a vicious dog ordinance that allows us, and I believe it's our policy at this point, if there is a dog that bites a human, or if there's an unprovoked attack, that animal is made to leave the city limits in relatively short fashion. So I guess if the commission as a whole wants to move away from the breed specific, at the same time, we might tweak our vicious dog, because right now it allows for the animal to stay in town pending determination by the court, the city court, that it is a vicious animal that has to remain muzzled until that determination is made. But frankly, I don't, if we've made the determination that it is, the dog needs to be removed. If the owner later wants to come before the commission and get reprieved to bring the dog back to town, that's fine, but I don't know that we would want the dog in town pending that determination be made.
What's the course of action for the city to even know that this has happened?
A dog bite?
I'm gonna be the one that's talking out of turn, so I'm gonna have our assistant chief come help me on that as he rolls his eyes at me. But I believe that when dog bites are treated at the hospital, the police department gets a call from the hospital.
Yeah, if the hospital gets a dog bite, they call us. They're mandated reporters or whatever.
So then our department investigates the dog bite and tries to determine. So the toughest part is if you don't find the dog, tracking down the dog sometimes can be difficult. So
does the bite have to be severe enough that it's, because I know that in my 12 years or whatever, I've had at least 2 of my kids, my runners bit, and nothing ever happened because we didn't really pursue it.
Well, I think I guess I would encourage if there's someone in town that does get a dog bite and can at least identify the dog in the area of town. We do have a database at the police department, so we can at least determine if there's a rabies vaccination on file. Because that's the dangerous thing. I know there was been a couple recent dog bites where there's no vaccination, no rabies vaccination. And then the person that got bit has to go some pretty expensive and some pretty painful treatment to make sure they don't die from rabies. So,
But isn't that the reason for the 2-week quarantine? To determine and observe their behavior?
Yes.
Before they have to have those shots, before the person has to have the shots.
Yes.
That's the whole
I mean,
reason
it'd
for
be a
that?
case by case thing, but if it breaks skin and they don't have the vaccination paperwork,
Mhm.
then yes, they would go out to the Humane Society for quarantine.
For 2 weeks to be observed.
Yeah. And
To my
then
knowledge, that does not happen. They release it back to the owner.
and
if they've been told by us that it's in quarantine, that they're not supposed to.
Well, I was bit by a pit bull when I was a kid carrying papers. It was an unprovoked attack, and I've also seen a person's pit bull pet attack another dog, and it was ugly. Just out of the blue, the dog, something struck the dog, and it attacked the other dog, and it was not pleasant. So I guess I'm in favor of just leaving our ordinance alone.
I mean, I even have friends who have pit bulls and say that they're the best pets, but the thing is, I'm not comfortable getting rid of the ban either, just because the severity of if one is in city, and I think of my cross country runners out on the roads, and you get a Rottie or a pit bull coming out at them, and yes, it could be a Chihuahua or a Lab as well, but that bite's not going to be near as bad. So I'm the same way. And if we need to tweak the vicious dog portion of it, so it's a little bit more, I don't know, so the dogs don't get released or whatever, then I guess we need to look at that.
but that's already in the ordinance.
It's just a
If that's
question of-
happened, it was done in error. You know, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. So I am still comfortable with the way it is, but that, just like Tom, you said, that's your opinion. That's my opinion too.
Well, I have had people say that they're moving to town with pit bulls and they're good pit bulls. They didn't move to town because of it. It's hard saying. Honestly, it is a tough one because it all depends on the owner. And you know, honestly, we need to just enforce maybe the rules that we have a little better, because there are obviously several breeds in town that resemble pit bulls, and they are in town already because this has been an issue. So how to handle it moving forward, I'm not 100% for sure, to be honest, but
And those people, they don't want to, you know, get their dog licensed or, you know, get rabies shots or things like that because they don't want people knowing they have a pit bull in town.
Well, the vets, I don't think turn anybody in. I don't believe that's not their responsibility. Like if somebody goes out to the vet clinic, gets their dog shots, and if they don't say it's a pit bull, they're not going to turn them into the police, are they? I mean, they're not mandated reporters like if somebody gets bit. Yeah, which I figured
I'm not really, I guess I'm not really saying that. I'm just saying that they'll.
I understand what you're saying, that they purposely don't register the animal.
Right,
You know,
because it's a pit bull.
Because I'll be honest, we do have the dog registration requirement, but I would say it's largely voluntary. Because the only way we're gonna find out if your dog's not registered is if we see the dog in it. What's this year's purple?
Usually if we catch it at large or somebody calls about an issue.
But those dogs, I guess this year's tag is a purple tag. So you should be able to see it pretty clearly on the dog's collar because it's also required to be on the dog's collar at all times. So.
Would it be possible to write something saying that a pit bull would be allowed if they were to pass an evaluation of an unvicious dog? So that basically would just, in short, I believe we're basically enforcing a rule on a lot of people that maybe have good dogs, because the people that maybe have a vicious dog have them in town already.
Yeah. And I can't deny, I know people that have and care for pit bulls, and their pit bulls may never be the animal that strikes out. But I think the concerns we've had in the past is statistically, if there's going to be a fatality associated with a dog bite, these are the two breeds that it comes from. I mean, I think that's statistically proven over time. I know that we've talked about this maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We've talked about it several times, at least since 2017 when I've been on board here. So, but I guess I didn't even answer your question, but can we? Yes. So this is part of the the police powers we have as a city. So yeah, we can write the ordinance we want to. Vicious dog is a state law in addition to the city ordinance. So I don't feel like we can do away with that one, but anything that's breed specific is not a state law. It's not required by law. It's part of what we do as our police powers as a city. So we can write it however we believe it's necessary to protect the citizens in the community.
Well, I think everybody knows I am definitely an animal advocate. Very supportive of the Brown County Humane Society. They have lots of animals that may have the characteristics of a pit bull. They may have the appearance of a pit bull, and they're not adoptable to residents in the city of Hiawatha for this particular reason. When I saw this was on our agenda, I did a lot of research regarding how these bans, breed specific bans, once they're put in place, lengthy studies over determining whether it truly changed the level and the number of bites. And about every study that I had read basically said it didn't change anything as far as the number of dog bites. I don't know. I've been bitten by a German Shepherd. I've been bitten by a lab. And I agree with Andy in stating that, yes, if there's going to be a vicious attack, it seems like it's going to come from a pit bull, or it's going to come from a Rottweiler, or those are the bigger dogs that are going to put more damage to a person. So, I mean, it's very difficult. I would be fine with rescinding that particular ordinance if we really tweaked the vicious dog ordinance, in that anything that ever happened would be seriously addressed. I don't know. I think there's people that will not move to Hiawatha because they own a pit bull or they own a Rottweiler that are just the best dogs in the world. And, I've seen small dogs that have Chihuahuas that have gone after people just as hard and fast as a bigger dog. But
when a Chihuahua comes chasing one of my runners, it's a punt-sized dog. They can take care of it.
I agree.
Yeah, so I still am comfortable keeping the breed ban in. And you're right, there's a chance that nothing would happen, but I'm not willing to take that risk. And yes, there will be people who will have those dogs in town. And it's not like we're going to knock on their doors and say, we're the dog police and get rid of them. But they need to know that there's serious consequences, not only because of the vicious dog, but because of the breed. So.
Well, people who have pit bulls have been told to remove them from the city of Hiawatha. We have a city ordinance that they have to abide by.
Yep.
So you get a complaint from a neighbor that, hey, this dog resembles a pit bull. This dog has characteristics of a pit bull. This dog has the appearance of a pit
That's
bull.
typically how they come to our attention.
Exactly. And by our city ordinance, law enforcement is required to take action. And that means to remove them from the city of Hiawatha, period. I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
I feel if the dog has shown some aggression, if the dog has, we've received complaints that it's aggressive or it's bitten someone, something like that, then the vicious dog ordinance should be tweaked.
Now, are there separate ordinances for pit bull and Rottweiler?
No, they're all together. And so, and once again, for the public out there that's visiting our webpage, which is highly under construction and revision, that ordinance on the web, I don't think has Rottweilers in there, but it's all in the same ordinance. I think it's in the code book anyway, here at City Hall. So we're working on the website to get that caught up, but unfortunately it's not.
Well, like Laura brought up a good point that these dogs aren't able to be adopted because of our ordinance. And I don't believe that the animal shelter they would allow a vicious dog to even be adopted. So is that a safe assumption that, that they're assessing them and they're not going to put a dog out that's possibly going to bite somebody? I wouldn't think.
I think they've had to euthanize more than once. I don't want to speak for the Humane Society, but
Well, we have an ex-president from the Humane Society here. What would they do?
They have had them euthanized, I think at least two. And no, they do not test them, but they know who they can adopt to. They let people know when they come in, bring your dog to check to see if they're gonna get along. Take your dog, you can take the dog home to see if it's gonna get along with the family. They're not going to allow a mean dog or an aggressive dog go to a family. They won't do it.
no, that's what I thought. And if the dog is known to have previously attacked this, that, and the other, then the dog is euthanized.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Since when I was out there, we've had two.
Mhm.
Well, I
Also, I look into what when we asked the opinion of the chief of police, and he also, wrote the letter to discuss the concerns he has. I mean, that's another portion that I take into consideration. Somebody with 30 years of experience, but, so that's another part of my decision-making process.
But I definitely took his letter into account. Like I said, just the amount of research that I've done regarding statistically what happens with breed bans, and you really don't see the number of dog bites go down. I'd like to just see this rescinded, and I'd like to see a vicious dog ordinance really tweaked a lot to protect the community in general. In general, not just from a pit bull bite or a Rottweiler bite, but a Chihuahua bite or a golden retriever or anything like that. And it would have to be a set in stone ordinance that's fully enforced.
And that's the sad thing, is it can't be enforced until there's a serious bite.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it. You have to wait till the dog shows aggression before you can do something.
Well, I mean, my take on it is we've had this problem already, and so our ordinance is not working. We're basically just affecting people that possibly have really good dogs and dogs that could be adopted. People are basically doing they're bringing them in regardless. Like everybody just said, they just don't get them tagged or whatever the case may be. So basically what I'm saying is the ordinance that we have right now has too many holes in it. It can't be enforced. And I do believe that, we're just limiting good dogs and families from coming in town. So with that said, I'll make a motion to, remove our, pit bull and Rottweiler banned in town, and move forward with a stricter vicious dog ordinance. And like I said, I just think it's too hard to prove what type of dog it is. So
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded to remove the breed specific ban.
Right.
Well, or do we need to?
Before we vote, if I might just ask some questions, is that something we're going to do tonight without, because I don't know what we're looking at as far as what the changes will be made to the vicious animal. I don't know if the commission wants an ordinance that does both at the same time. So there's no gap as far as if something were to happen in the next 2 weeks. So I guess some directions on the vicious animal, or if you just want me to put it the way I like it and bring it back, so I guess I apologize. I guess I should have said something earlier, but since we're up for discussion, I'm just going to ask those questions. If you want to do that tonight, or if it's something we want to tweak, bring back, do it all at once. I guess I'll leave that to the commission.
It might be better like if we do it like what we did with the fireworks, where you had a chance to put something together and come and then bring it back and we can vote on it then. Is that what would make more sense?
well, I would go ahead and vote to remove the ban on the two specific breeds. From
That motion is on the floor, so.
right. And so what Andy says, we do have a vicious dog ordinance. Maybe it doesn't need to be tweaked. Maybe it needs to be just enforced stricter.
Been tweaked badly. And I know that the motion's on the floor at the moment, but is there any potential that we could table that and do everything all at the same time?
You have to vote on the motion.
We do have to vote on.
So we have to vote on the motion regardless of what happens. So there's a motion and a second. So we have to vote on the motion. And then if the motion passes, we'll take action. If the motion doesn't pass, we'll take whatever action the commission wants to take next. I guess is procedurally we have to vote. So.
But then the motion said both to remove the breed specific and then also to do something with the vicious dog ordinance. So
Yes.
The motion would remove pit bull and Rottweiler and move forward with the stricter vicious dog.
I still think that the motion will work, will work fine. We can vote for it and then talk about how we want to tweak it, I guess.
Can you put a timeline on your motion?
as the motion's already been made and
So
seconded.
unless there's an amendment. Motion second to amend first motion.
Why don't we just vote on the first?
What? Yeah,
So,
we can
Don,
vote on it and we can make another motion if we have to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
if you vote aye,
You go,
okay.
Brian. I thought he was gonna make another motion.
Well, we have to,
have to vote on this. Aye.
Oh,
So, all three. All in favor? All opposed?
aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 3-2. Okay. Then moving on to item 4, sewer project change order.
So this is just the official change order that we've already, some of the engineers had already asked for an extension to May 30th of 2025. This is just the official change order to that. And so I just need, I need an action to approve change order number 3 for the North Lift Station project, extending the time limit of substantial completion to May 30th, 2025, and authorize the mayor to sign.
Make a motion to approve change order number 3 for the North Lift Station project, extending the time of substantial completion to May 30th, 2025, and authorize the mayor to sign the document.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve change order 3 for the North Lift Station. Any further discussion? Not done. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to communications. Anything there, Brad?
Yes, we have the April judges report, the April fire runs, and the chamber newsletter for May.
Any comments or questions? Okay, moving on to governing body comments. I just want to wish everybody congratulations on graduation, which next weekend will be the Hiawatha graduation. So get ready for all the kids to be loose for the summer.
Mm.
So Dave,
I don't have anything.
Tom,
I don't have anything.
Brian,
Yeah, I had some questions today about the planter boxes downtown. I was under the impression that we did get that back in the budget. Apparently we did not. So I would just like to, do we have a plan moving forward, put it out to business owners that they're more than willing or welcome to take care of the planters going downtown, or we've got to have some type of plan to fill that void.
Yes, absolutely. We can get something out to the business owners to just inform them of that, yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Paul?
The only thing that I was thinking about is the farmer's market. To go back to that,
Mhm.
there's a big water hydrant that just kind of sticks up out of the ground.
Yeah,
It's been hit more than once.
yeah.
That they tie a paper sack on, trying to show people where it's at. And is there any way that you could get that capped off so it's not?
Yeah, we can just pull that out of the ground. It doesn't, it's not attached to anything anymore. Yeah, just get rid of
It's
it.
just been hit more than once.
Yeah.
So it's just not there.
Yeah, we can just pull it out of the ground. That's easy.
Okay, great. That's all for me.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passed 5-0.